Tonight I'm going to do a reading from a few pages of the Yellow River Record and reflect upon those words. I found this book at Powell's bookstore last March on a birthday getaway in Portland, Oregon. And I like to buy chapbooks and things like that for to read them and also to for the purposes of doing erasure poetry. And this was published in 1969 by Big Venus, and it was written by Clayton Eshleman. And in 1969, on July 26, he wrote a letter, and this was a portion of what he said. I am sending you a 9-page poem I wrote about a week ago and copied last night. It is the record of the first 2/3 of an LSD experience with Carrie. More narrative than I usually write, but that was my concern in this piece, to get the experience on record. It seems to me that it might make for a nice pamphlet, one poem, a unit. The Yellow River Record. I followed limbs, the lamb all experience promises. Take the trail, the Appalachian from point of Tengeret parking circle. Now road, now over stones I followed your body. Slim, small, I questioned being there. Was Carrie sat on high rock, mid-heaven, sky high, elms, maples, searching to be touched by sun to get one experience down this walk. And then we, beyond the trail, it was in us, searched as a man might come into his full presence. Be with you on a blanket, sun over boulder, a basket of fruit. It was in us, flies in tall grass. The cry, green is pines, as the poem dissolves, solves it. And he begs for language to reach out, stomach. It worked in us. And then I was on you, up above you, dropping my pants to strut before you. Penis, vegetable, my violet trembling hand, t-shirt on, warrior. It solves us for an instant, solve as germ or sweat. You touching me in the heat, dropping to you in the itch of it. How beautiful you are, a woman with her pants pulled off, waiting. Grass crinkled blanket, the cherry of you. Peach of what do we explore? Is it living always in us? Is it an he or she? I suck on your legs. You suck on my cock. Eve wants Adam to know. This is all of our understanding, braced as your sweet mouth pulls, licks, watching your eyes, woods. Is there anything other than this praise of him, this lack of shame, pulsation, and then I was on you. buried eyes. Zoa, in darkness, O God, this poem cries into language. Is there anything other than this? The arrow, yin, flakes, bright, orange, yang, circle the tapestry of the light within me, who as sun sees its aura, have I come? Faceless woman, have I come only to laugh in you? To trail here, this orgasm, Eve wants Adam only to know. Man, those are some good lines. I come only to laugh in you, to trail here this orgasm, Eve wants Adam only to know. Buried, he opened in my buried eyes. In darkness, O God. This lack of shame, pulsation, and then I was on you. Buried, he opened in my eyes. Adam opened in my buried eyes. Adam opened in me. Eve only wants Adam to know in a biblical sense is to exchange an intimate knowledge. The knowledge that is exchanged during sexual intercourse. It is a knowledge that is difficult to quantify. It is difficult to wrap your arms around, to wrap your mind around this knowledge that only two individuals know when they engage in the most intimate act together, the act of sex or procreation for males and females, but sex between two people. I'm assuming that the act is similar, this knowing, this experience is similar in people who have in homosexual sexual relations, that they also experience this too. But I don't know. The center of life, the center of our lives is sex, and this is the reason that we are. The reason life is. Say, for the first life that came into being, these proteins and whatnot, in what the primordial soup, I don't know. No one really knows. We just have a lot of conjecture on how life came into being. But the first life that came into being didn't come into being through sexual reproduction. The first life came into being by a set of processes that it came into being, and this knowledge of how life came into being is experienced. It's felt. You know it. And this experience that he had in the LSD, in the acid trip, is that he knew something different than when he was sober or without it. That he had some experience in his mind that opened his mind to this new reality that Eve wants Adam to know. that Eve wants Adam to know the fruit from the tree of knowledge that Eve ate, and her eyes were opened to a new reality in the Garden of Eden. And when Adam ate that fruit, he knew too. He knew too from his experience, his limited experience. He knew a knowledge that was new. A knowledge that only the universe knows. And now he knew it too. He may not have been able to put it into words, but he knew it. And she knew it. And they knew it together. And they were naked together. But in this poem, he doesn't go the route of shame that goes in the garden story between Adam and Eve. In this story, they knew something and they were able to exist naked together without shame and in the moment without any guilt that is placed upon them by our biblical Christian society. And in our biblical Christian society that we live in, that we have been formed by for several thousand years, whether you believe it or not, we are still formed by it because this is the religion of the land. And in this religion, that we all know that sex is evil. And why is it evil? Because sex brings more material into the world. The world is evil. It is made of material. And this comes from Manichaeism, from Gnosticism, from almost 2,000 years ago. And beyond, that the philosophy then was that sex was evil because it brought new material into the world, and the material world is evil. The yin and the yang, the light and the darkness of the world combine together, the light and the darkness combine together to form this world that is evil. And spirit is good. It is good to be spirit, the spirit of the unseen realm all around us that binds us together in some Star Warsian sort of a paradise of the Force is with you, the light side of the Force, which binds us all together. And it is in between us, this force, this unseen other that animates life. And that spirit is what we want to get in touch with. In a Gnostic Manichaeist sense, you want to get in touch with that spirit, that knowing of the other. But in the form of the material, you are bound by the laws of evil, of darkness, the black of life. The white of life, the spirit. The white is the spirit. The black is the flesh. The spirit, the flesh. The spirit, which is good. The flesh, which is bad. And I am a man of flesh. And we are all of flesh. And we are evil. And this is, of course, what the whole Christian God is to save us from, is from that evil. That evil of being a fleshly being. Or at least that is the Manichaeist and Gnostic influence upon Christianity. But that is in this poem too. It solves us for an instance, solves as a germ or sweet, you touching me in the heat, dropping to you in the itch of it. The itch of wanting sex, of wanting to know something other. And this is what is on the underside of this poem. What forms this poem is our culture. And in his experience of LSD, he came into a different sense of knowing. And I'm beginning to repeat myself, so I'm going to quit right now. So good night.